blessings and prayers to him and his family. But gentlemen, thank you for being here today.
Hey, Mike, if I could ask you, I know we all see you on War Room, and I remember, I think Bannon had just got out of prison, and it was you, I think, Jeff Clark and Pat McSweeney commenting that the people who should be in prison are the folks who got Tina in prison and she should be out. And I know that mentioning her name sets you on fire. Your thoughts on where Tina is and why?
Well, first of all, I want to say happy 70th birthday to Tina Peters. She's a great American and she is being persecuted by the Colorado Democrat legal cabal. And it's maddening to me because I'm a Colorado attorney. I'm a Colorado resident. I run the Article 3 project out of the DC area, but I reside in Colorado. And Tina Peters was a county clerk, Mesa County clerk, who did her job. Her job was to make sure that our elections are fair and accurate. She wanted to do an investigation of an election after the election. And so you had Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, who is just a wretched human being, Democrat operative, and Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser, who's a total snake, teaming up with Mesa County officials, a Mesa County judge, and they brought bogus charges against Tina Peters on a novel legal theory. Sounds familiar. It's the same thing they did with President Trump. And they have her sitting in prison right now for her 70th birthday as a 70-year-old woman with no prior criminal history, with no votes changed, no allegation whatsoever that she affected the election in any way, but she dared to question the election. Tina Peters did. And so now she's suffering and dying in prison. And this is part of a pattern of these Democrats. Like today's Democrats are, this is not our Democrat Party. These aren't liberals who love America and just disagree with conservatives on the best way to get there. These are leftists. These are Marxists. They don't believe in free speech. They believe in censorship under the guise of protecting Americans from misinformation and disinformation. They don't believe in equality under the law. They believe in equity. They don't believe in equal protection of the law and due process. They believe in a politicized and weaponized justice system. And frankly, today's Democrats, and I say this maybe because it's so raw after Charlie Kirk's assassination, one of my friends, he's assassinated today. Today's Democrats are very happy with killing your political enemies. And they tried to do it to President Trump twice. They just did it today to Charlie Kirk, and they are doing it slowly to Tina Peters by putting this 70-year-old woman in prison for 9 years for nothing. So we are dealing with pure evil in today's Democrat Party.
Mike, I agree. And Martina, if I could ask you, I know when you briefed us initially in January there in Great Falls, Virginia, on some of the stuff you've been briefing the government, you made a comment that with the heroic actions Tina did was like a Rosetta Stone that helped you all to find more information. Can you maybe elaborate on that, Martine?
Yeah. So, I mean, thank you for the invitation today, I wish the next birthday of Tina Peters will be on enjoying the freedom she deserves. She is a political prisoner. She has been pretty much what we're seeing nowadays in the United States happening in what we have seen in other countries where Marxists has taken over, where you kill your opponents, where you put in prison people, you are exercising the right to investigate and question election. And when they see things that are not correct, not right, in fact, what she did in Mesa County, it was part of what we use to do our investigation on a specific company named Dominion. And what we not just corroborate Tina's peers on our investigation, we were able to prove beyond any doubt that those systems are corrupted, and she did the right thing to conduct the investigation she was conducting to protect the election integrity of this country. I mean, we from here we send our deepest gratitude to her for what she's doing. At the same time, we feel incredible sorry that a woman that has endured so much, losing his son, defending this country, is being treated the way she's being treated by the extreme left and the Marxists in this country who are trying to destroy the American way of life. An honor to be part of the people that keep the fight, that keep to bring the truth of everything that is being done to disrupt the elections and the integrity and of this process to damage the democracy in this country. And I cannot tell you how grateful and proud is myself and my team that have been doing this investigation for the contribution she have done to bring all this to the public, so the American people can have the opportunity to see by themselves the facts. And I think this sad day that we're living today, I mean, is really disturbing that we are having this conversation in the country that has been the global leader of freedom, and seeing what we're seeing today. A woman, a 70 years old woman who was exercising her rights and her duties, being a prisoner of activist Marxists in the state of Colorado, and a gray man like Charlie Kirk that did nothing other than debate and expose ideas to others, being killed the way he was killed today. I just want to say that I pray for Tina, and I prayed for Charlie Kirk and his family and his two kids and his wife, and I pray for this country. I wish we get better times than those that we're experiencing today.
Hey, Mike, if I could ask you, I know when I do get calls from Tina from La Vista Prison, it's interesting. She's not complaining. She's not moaning. She says she's like a racehorse in the stall. She wants to help the country with election integrity. She's thinking about the country even while she's rotting in a jail.
Yeah, I mean, because it shows you what a good person Tina Peters is, that she's an American patriot, and she's willing to sacrifice her liberty and her life suffering and rotting in this prison because she knows that Democrats rig and steal elections. They've been doing it for decades. These Marxists do this all over the world because to these Marxists, all they care about is power. They're godless. Their goal or god is power on earth, right? And their religion or strategy for their goal or god of power on earth is through Marxism. But they can't talk about the fact that they're Marxists because that doesn't sell very well to the normal people, real Americans in real America. So they use different religious sects, as I call them, or tactics for their strategy or religion of Marxism for their goal or god of power on earth, right? And that is to divide and conquer our country through division, right? They want to divide us by race, by gender, transgender, they, them, their, BLM, Antifa. They want to have an illegal immigrant invasion of our country. They want us to hate our country, so it gives them the opportunity as Marxists to bring radical Marxist change. If we hate everything about our country, if we hate each other, they can do that. And the best way that they can do that is to flood our country with 20 million illegal aliens and then get them to illegally vote or just rig elections other ways. Think about this. Think about what they did in 2020 with the election, with COVID. They said that, it's COVID, we're going to go to all mail ballots, right? And with all mail ballots, like we've seen in Colorado for many years, where it's gone from a solid red state to an all blue state with these all mail ballots, you mass mail ballots out to old voter lists, including college students who have moved 12 times since the last election. These live ballots get mailed out automatically, even if they were not requested. I got a ballot in Washington, D.C. for someone who had died 8 years prior, right? And how do you stop someone from voting that live ballots? It's through signature verification, right? Because I don't know how else you can stop it if you're going to do all mail ballots. Well, guess what? In 2020, the Democrats even made it where signature verification was meaningless because apparently COVID changes your signature. Didn't Tony Fauci must have told us that COVID changes your signature, and that's why they had to make it meaningless in 2020. And so that's their play. They're going to take over our elections. They're going to rig and steal our elections. They're going to flood our country with illegal voters. And then they're going to take over our country and destroy it from within. And look what they're doing in Europe. Just wake up to what they're doing in Europe. And guess what? It's coming here to America. And Tina Peters was bold and brave and fearless enough to say this. So the Marxists have her rotting in prison for 9 years, including on her 70th birthday.
Yes, sir. And Martine, if you could comment, and I know we've got limited time here, but all the things you've been doing, you've been briefing ODNI and others, maybe kind of expound on what Tina did was not in vain. And in fact, it was very prescient.
No, listen, there's one thing she did that when we were accessing the information that she preserved, and this take directly what Mike Davis just pointed out, mail-in ballot. We were able to take the information that she preserved and do what is called a density analysis of the mail-in ballots that was received from Mesa County since the election process in 2020 started around October 19 or 18, I don't remember exactly the day, until November 3rd, which was the election day in 2020. When we look into the election, what they call density analysis of the data that you preserve between 18th of October and the 21st, the amount of mail-in ballot received is disproportionately big with the rest of the dates until election day. But that's not what is relevant. What is relevant is 92 or 93% of those ballots only went to one candidate in a red county as Mesa, which was Joe Biden. None of those ballots count with barcode. None of those ballots have any choice below the president, the top of the ticket. So we clearly identify an impossible statistic phenomenon that it cannot be explained by anybody. And that's exactly the contribution of what she did preserving the data, showing exactly what Mike Davis was pointed at, which was the mail-in ballot and how those mail-in ballots get processed. Then it goes always to one candidate, the Democratic candidate. So that is one of the contributions she did. There are other data, but I'm going to keep it right there. And I would love to show you that data and put it in the program because we preserve that density analysis to anyone who can obtain the record from the courts and do exactly the same analysis. And they will find in the images that were collected exactly what I'm pointed at.
Wow. Hey, Apollo, you wrap it up here. Any final questions for Mike or Martine?
Well, I'd love to get into some more detail with Martine about some of the technical aspects to what Tina's done, because that's one of the things that they've really walked around the entire time, especially after the actions from the Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, and others at the AG's office regarding the actual data that was shown and the very clear, in their own word statements about what that data was and the fact that it was supposed to be preserved. And this goes all the way back to the recount as well when they were doing the RLA, which was another smokescreen. But just given the events of today, and I know he was a friend of yours, Mike, and loved by a lot of Americans. It's actually kind of prescient with what we talked about previously, Matt, regarding that masculine male energy we have in the American people. We have so much violence, and Charlie Kirk, the icon that he was, his entire audience was young men. So, when I asked you earlier about what do you do with the energy of the young men in America, especially after the next couple of years when we have a leader like Trump as an example, how do you mobilize that for something that's productive for the country, especially with all the operations they have going on to weaponize it and to radicalize everyone with things like they've done today? The day before, again, the anniversary of one of the most traumatic events that Americans have had in recent memory.
Well, I would say this about Charlie Kirk. Even at 31 years old, he was one of America's greatest political leaders. He motivated millions of young people, including on college campuses, to engage in political debate and activism, and he welcomed and encouraged all sides. And so America lost a great one today with Charlie Kirk. He was a great husband to a beautiful wife. They had two beautiful young kids. I've been on Charlie Kirk's show dozens of times. It's so raw right now because I've gone from shock to sadness to anger to resolve. And I will say this to conservative voices out there: they tried to take out Trump twice. They took out Charlie Kirk. They're trying to take out Tina Peters. We can never let these bastards win. So we need to redouble our efforts. I want to say to Tina Peters, happy 70th birthday. There are a lot of people all across America who love you, including me. So stay strong.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. And you are in my prayers, as is everyone who knew Charlie and for his family. So I appreciate you coming on today, and I'll pass along the message to Tina. I know she said thank you ahead of time.
Thank you very much.